All right, good morning, everybody. Take a look at our trade plan here. Okay, so from last night, we said holding above 970, which is the value high of yesterday. We're going to look for 17 and 47, just some prior value levels. 47 is an extension level. Holding below 900, we're looking for 64. That is that prior overnight low. And then 36, which is a pretty old value level, going back to 21. Now, obviously, because yesterday was such a wide value area, you can look for that rotation from 70 to 900 while we are inside of that value zone. You're still seeing a lowercase b, which is also kind of a micro pullback. So it's almost exactly what we saw yesterday, but it is flipped. So we had a micro pullback of the P-shaped profile yesterday, and then it nuked. And now we have a micro pullback of the lowercase b profile. All right, for NASDAQ, pretty much the same story here. Inside micro pullback candle of that lowercase b. Holding above 596, we're looking for 944 in the 26,000 hold number. Below 236, 181, and 104. You can look for rotations while we are inside of that value. Just know that during the rotations, as long as it protects that value high, it is still leaning slightly bearish. Pretty nasty sell-off right out of the gate here. Big seller delta coming in on NASDAQ, pushing down ES failing VWAP. That is a really big drop for right out of the open. Yeah, Tradeovate is having issues this morning. I did see that. This is what I was worried about when NinjaTrader bought them, is like they almost had no issues ever before NT bought them. And now it seems like they're putting their servers together and now they're having issues. Good morning, everybody. Tachi, Jose, Scott, JC, Ram, Darius. Let me pin the trade plan for you guys. Still seeing a major lack in liquidity here. Level 2 orders on pretty much every single order. Good morning, Larry. Magini Scott, Igor, Chef Nitro, Greg Ordinary, AT, Peter, Kosa, Tamer, Fable. Good morning, Tom. Powerlift, Flory, eBay. Good morning, Leo, Maverick, Titus. Harg, Lubomir, Chebby, Aaron, Ryder. Mr. Crab, Pilot, Trevor. Good morning. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Nolly. Good morning, Angelo. Putting in a bottom node here at 39 to 40. If we hold below that, still looking to rotate yesterday's value. Chuck, Tom. Low, Needle. Michael, good morning, guys. Hey, team, have a good day, man. Good morning, Scooby, Trades, Lucio. Bottom node being protected here. Bouncing off that value low yesterday, damn near to the point on NASDAQ. Bouncing off today's value low on ES, nowhere near yesterday's. Keep an eye on the bounce back into VWAP here at 391. Ignoring VWAP on ES. Yeah, there is a little bit of data at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. We had some at 8:15. It was 22K over 46K. Nothing crazy. There is just no liquidity. It's just going back and forth very quickly. You're not sticking to any of these levels. This is pretty common for January, February. February is historically one of the worst months to trade. It's kind of like September, where unless it has like a driving force, like a catalyst, it can chop around quite a bit. Yeah, NinjaTrader and Tradeovate are having issues again. Which, like I was saying earlier, this is the pain when these platforms merge. If one of them has issues, they both have issues instead of them being kind of unique in that regard. Isolated. Keep an eye on VWAP here. VWAP at 384. Yeah, JC makes a good point. Somebody was saying earlier that they were like banning certain countries. It might be an error or something. I'm not sure if they're doing that on purpose. I don't receive like emails or any like news updates from TradeBait, so I'm not sure if that's like a new thing they're doing. I mean, I'm in the US and I'm having issues, so I don't think that's like the number one reason. I can't even get into my normal accounts. Does anybody here have like a normal TradeBait account, like your own money? Can you get in? Because I can't even get into mine. I think their servers are messed up. I'm trying to look at their website for any like news updates or something. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'm not sure where they post like any updates. They posted something last time they had an issue on January 28th. They haven't posted anything on Twitter for today. Yeah, people are saying they have issues with live trading as well. People are commenting on their most recent post. Good old Ninja Trader. They were doing much better on their own. Here's that 945 data at, let's see, 52.7 or 52.5, a little bit higher than expected. How are you guys doing on Rhythmic? Are you guys having any issues on Rhythmic? I mean, I'm currently seeing the Rhythmic data, but I haven't tried to trade on this yet. Bro, traders are so much more emotional than you think they should be. I'm reading all the comments of like these posts and they're just so bad. People act like it's the end of the world. Rhythmic's okay. Just a trade of 8 issue, gotcha. Yeah, at this point, you basically just want to have one of each account at least. Like have one Rhythmic, have one trade of 8. They don't seem to have issues at the same time. It's usually one or the other. A lot of bearish delta coming in here. Still just rotating today's profile. Not so much yesterday. Very clean bell curve. Filling in those single prints from yesterday, we left one open. So we saw that pullback. Very high strike rate, as we talked about, filling in those single prints before the end of the day. And it didn't look like it was going to do it. It went straight down. And then it started bouncing aggressively at 2 p.m. And look at where it closed. Right on the single prints, damn near to the tick. And then we opened up and filled in the last one. So still seeing that high strike rate, filling in most single prints before the close. If they're not filled in on the close, they're filled in the next day. Morning, Joan. Morning, Chuck. So here's your target for the bear flag and a VWAP on NASDAQ. You hit VWAP, put in a lower high, and then finally hit your lower high. Or sorry, your prior low. Prior low being taken out. Not quite a bear flag and a VWAP on ES, just more of a rotation. But here is the value low rotation being finished. Interesting how I decide my bias. Yeah, I usually just use the full session to decide my bias. We just look at the prior day. Was it more bearish? Was it more bullish? Has the pre-market broken that structure? So like today, I'm using a bearish bias because yesterday was very bearish, and today has not shown any signs of breaking that bias. So if today was trading above yesterday's value, then obviously we wouldn't have a bearish bias. So you could say today is neutral, or you could say it's bearish based on yesterday. And that's basically how I do it every single day. So like yesterday, for example, we had a bullish bias or a neutral bias because you had a P-shaped profile and then you had a continuation of that profile. So until that is lost, you're bullish or neutral, which then obviously you lost very quickly. So then once you lost that lower value, it was very bearish. Yeah, NT wasn't having any issues. It was mostly trade evade, from what I've seen in chat. As long as you're using rhythmic data. There is more data coming out in 5 minutes. Still seeing those really sloppy rotations from the micro pullback. Well, really clean rotations, sloppy price action, I should say. The rotation levels are acting like magnets, but the price action is really nasty. Trade evade's back. Let me try. It seems like it's working. I'd still be careful trading for a little bit. Selling off before that 10 o'clock data here. A little bit of preemptive selling here. Data coming out in 1 minute. Still very low liquidity. Not sure really what the market makers are waiting on. Since the FOMC, the liquidity has been non-existent. Very, very bad. Going into the government shutdown, it kind of made sense. Like maybe they were a little bit worried about it. But then the shutdown basically ended right away. But not quite sure what they're waiting on this time. Let's see here. Still hasn't updated. There it is. 53.8 over 53.5. This is probably due to there's a critical minerals meeting going on right now with 50 nations. They're basically talking about the supply chain for pretty much every big metal you can think of. Mostly silver, gold, copper. I saw a headline. Let me find it. Keep an eye on yesterday's value low on ES. We are failing it on NASDAQ. I was saying that Trump was going forward with a U.S. critical minerals vault the same way that we have a strategic oil reserve, mostly for silver and copper. There was also another headline. Let me see. JD Vance confirms that Trump is proposing critical mineral price floors. And that is all for that. Keep an eye on that value low at 900. Like I said, we are already losing it on NASDAQ, and we're actually already hitting our trade plan targets. That's the bottom to the tick. Damn near. Let me go ahead and extend these targets. We'll say 25,000 even, and then 900. Don't need to extend the targets on ES. We're still looking for that rotation down to 900. Not at the moment. No, I don't have any lag on Addis. How do I select my targets? They're pretty much like 99% of the time just prior value. The prior value from the daily closes, the daily session, I mean. Then you have like the high of day, low of day, overnight high, overnight low. All the major levels you would think about. A lot of weekly support when you get down to that 900. Losing 900 looks pretty bad. We lost last week's VWAP, tried to retest it, sold. So higher time frame's not looking too good. Oh, it's having issues with DX feed. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't use DX feed. Daily still looking pretty bad. We're like sitting on the low of the range here, sitting on that trail. They've bounced off the trail 5 times already. And you can see that momentum is just not coming up. It's still pushing down here. And then for NASDAQ, same thing, losing that trail. Momentum in a pinch, still coming down here. So we need to see some immediate buy pressure pretty soon, or this is starting to look pretty bad. Possibly losing this daily range low. You're basically sitting on the floor. Like it needs to bounce off this very soon, which you can see they're trying to do it. The daily buyers are definitely there. They are trying to protect that level. It's a very important level. Around 900 on ES. Same thing I said earlier this week. Trying to go below 900 very hard on the daily. The buyers keep coming in. Trying to go above 7,000 very hard. Sellers keep coming in. We recovered the low of this candle. Keep an eye on the halfback of that candle, which is that yellow square. That's the midway point of that candle. We'll see if it keeps recovering. So far, looking a little weak. Keep an eye on the bounce back into VWAP here. 38 to 42. Which also lines up perfectly with the halfway point of that candle. So far, sellers are kind of allowing this to go up here. They're not really fighting. Good morning, Bella. So if you guys are just coming in, Trade8 should be back up. It was having issues this morning. Just be a little careful in your trades. Make sure to put your stop losses and stuff out there in case the system does go down again. It seems like it was isolated to Trade8, NinjaTrader not having too many issues. And Addis is also doing okay. Good morning, Med. How did I conclude that sellers are allowing it and not really fighting? When I said that, there was no node here. So now there is a node there. So the sellers are fighting now. But when I said that, they were pushing up very easily. There was no node being established. Basically, like right here, the buyers allowed this to go down. There's no buying going on. But now that they're putting in a node, they are fighting over it, or at least they're trying to. It's obviously not succeeding. There's just no liquidity. You can just see how quickly it is moving from level to level to level. You just hit VWAP and failed it like to the tick, and then you dropped nearly 10 points almost immediately, 5 points right away. There's just no liquidity sitting in the market stopping these moves. There's no sellers holding it down. There's no buyers holding it up. They are starting to like that level at 35, protected it immediately after failing VWAP. Failed VWAP, came down, hit it, and then bounced immediately. We'll see if they protect it again here. I mean, just look at the price here. It's just not sticking to any level. Broke right through that node this time, so no longer protecting that node. Are they protecting the 31 node? Looks like they are protecting the 31 node. They have bounced off that node 4 times. There are no settings for VWAP. VWAP should always be default. You shouldn't play with VWAP settings-wise. The only change in VWAP is where you're anchoring it, and the most default VWAPs are pretty much the same across the board for any trader. You're either anchoring it to the New York Open or the Session Open. VWAP is probably like the most used, like most powerful indicator in trading, just because it is the same. Nobody plays with the settings. We're all looking at the same level. Doesn't matter what type of trader we are. The level is pretty much within a few points of each other. Like they're nearly exactly the same across the board. That's why it's so powerful. There are sellers protecting 40. Well, that's exactly why you're ranging here. That's what a range is, right? So you have the sellers protecting the higher level and the buyers protecting the lower level, which is creating a 10-point range. Which is exactly why you're ranging on the 1 minute here. Sellers holding VWAP, buyers holding that node. Which that node is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's not really sitting on a major level. I guess it's the overnight low. The closest level to that 31 node is the overnight low here. Which is basically just the low of the POC node. Not yet, Maverick. I should be hearing back today. If I don't, I'll send them another reminder. I'm assuming their team is working on something important because they usually get back to me really quickly. Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was saying earlier we were talking about the halfway point here, and that was damn near the high of the candle, like to the tick on that pullback. If they start breaking that, then look for this node around 49, and then possibly the high of the candle around 60. It's starting to look like a failed bear flag in a VWAP because you hit the VWAP, you tried to come down. Like we always say, you want this to be one smooth motion back down. You did not see that, and now you're pushing back into VWAP. So if your stop is break even after a failed chop like that, then obviously you're getting stopped out. If your stop is normally where it is, like you just left it alone, say what, probably 46, 47, somewhere around there, it's still in the trade, but you're definitely not feeling too good. It's kind of chopping around your entry here. The break-even trade is dead. The normal trade is still alive, but not looking too good. You need those sellers to really start pushing 35 here. Good morning, Brian. There's the bounce off that node yet again. So this would be killing the trade entirely. So break-even trade dead, and then probably most short-term stops are dead as well. So here's that node I talked about, breaking that node, or sorry, breaking the halfway point. Here's the node at 48, and then possibly the high of the candle, high of day. So far, very weak buy pressure on that break. Still following that D-shaped micro pullback pattern. Getting a little sloppy, obviously. Left the value area for quite a bit. But still showing that bell curve. Rotation goes back into 55. Not exactly a micro pullback anymore on NASDAQ. You kind of lost that D shape, turning into a very large sweep, bouncing off that 104 level damn near to the exact tick. If this goes for a big rotation, keep an eye on that. That would go back to 462. Possibly stalling around the overlapping POCs. Yet again, that's that daily bounce area. They keep bouncing it around the 20s to like 900. Yeah, dangerous price action, mostly because of the liquidity. You're just not seeing a lot of liquidity. It's moving through these levels very easily. We're seeing less than 20 contracts per tick pretty much the entire day. Like I was saying, I'm not really sure what they're waiting on. We don't really have like anything major coming up anytime soon. We don't have any major earnings. We don't have any like FOMC coming up. Dividends, maybe dividends. Speaking of earnings, there are Google earnings today. And that is the last of like the big companies to have earnings. But I don't think the entire market is waiting on Google earnings. Oh yeah, Amazon also has earnings coming up. And those are the last two of the big boys. It could be it. They could be waiting on Google and Amazon. Really hard to say. This is always a little bit annoying when it lines up like this. NASDAQ is still kind of in the bear flag in the VWAP pattern, but you're breaking out of that on ES, so it's hard to say which one is in control here. So keep an eye on that session VWAP on NASDAQ if it does continue. NASDAQ has been doing a much better job holding on to VWAP. That initial push in the morning was a very good bear flag in the VWAP trade, but not on ES. ES was kind of chopping through VWAP. The only other VWAP that you see on stream is the weekly one, the dotted one. Looks like VWAP is a bit stronger on NASDAQ here. Still seeing that slight bearish bias from that lowercase b of yesterday. $30-minute highs still being protected today. No high has been taken out. You did have a low get taken out, but it did get swept. Looks like that VWAP having a much stronger effect on NASDAQ here, nearly completing that second bear flag in the VWAP trade. Or I guess you could say this might be the third one. First one was right here, around the open. You could consider this the second one, or you can consider this like all one trade. Depends on how you took that. So either 2 trades or 3 trades. Very bottom heavy candle here. Needs to protect that 28 node. You could consider this a variation of a bear flag in the VWAP on ES. This is the trap variation that we talked about, I believe, in the Apex series, if not in the other VWAP videos. But this is when you break through VWAP and you have that kind of cupping pattern, and then it re-loses VWAP. So that would have been around like 38 to 40 on the re-loss of VWAP. Which has already made back your loss on the failed attempt of this one here. Here is your conservative target on the prior low. The more aggressive target would be obviously around the low there, which is like 10 to 15. Another way you can see that trap is the delta was very weak above that VWAP. Did we finish a rotation there? I believe we did. It got very close. Yeah, so you finished a rotation, and then this is the downward rotation. So finishing another one down to 33. Now losing the balance if it stays below 33. Coming up on the yearly low, which doesn't sound like a whole lot because it's obviously only February. But that level is 25,025 on NASDAQ. Basically, if we lose 100 more points here, you're at a new yearly low. Putting in a double bottom on NASDAQ. A lot of buy pressure coming in here. There are some headlines coming out from Besant. He said tariffs do not cause inflation. Says stablecoins could be important to the U.S. government. That tariff headline could be leading to a spike here. Two very key buzzwords in one headline. Trump is also making statements saying that he just finished a call with President Xi of China. Says he will be making a trip to China in April. Yeah, definitely a reaction to the Trump post on China. A very positive post. And then Besant had that statement about inflation. They both kind of happened at the same time, led to a spike. Now turning into a bit of a bulldog here if you can stay above VWAP. Looks like we are back into rotation and damn near finishing it instantly. Rotation goes back to 54. So far, pretty much textbook D-shaped micro pullback, getting a lot of rotations. The only problem with it is the liquidity is so bad that inside of those rotations, the price action is terrible. It's one of those days where the volume profile and market profile makes it look very clean, very simple. But then looking at the price action is really ugly. Morning, Sam Titus. Have a good day, man. Hey, Jake. Have a good day, man. Yeah, definitely a day you want to be careful, protect your money. On days like this, on pretty much every single time I talk about micro pullbacks or D-shaped profiles, I say the same thing over and over and over again. You really have to be careful trading around the middle of all the chop, around the POC. You want to be a trader on the extremes, as close to the value high and value low as you can. If you stuck to that for most of today, it still would have been a little bit dangerous and sloppy, but it would have protected you from a lot of the chop. Basically, when you always see these like really long 30-minute candles, you don't want to be trading anywhere near the middle of these candles. The extremes are too wide. Value high has been around 50 for most of the day. A little bit higher on the full session, I believe. Yeah, 53. So basically like 50 to 55 is kind of where you're looking at. Look at the levels that I marked out today, basically. Like the point of origin levels, the 50 to 55 area. You had a nice resistance right there, sold. Resistance right there, sold. We had a point of origin, I forgot, I just deleted it. It was it this one? But there was one a little bit lower. Wherever it was, there was one towards the lows as well. And then you had the value low around the 30s. So let's see here, 32. Yep. So somewhere around the 30s. So you kind of had like the buy zone is somewhere around the 30s here. And then sell zone is basically already marked out by the point of origins. So the buys were definitely threatened very hard with those sell-offs. The sells didn't do too bad, though. The value high was pretty good. The value low was threatened a couple times. Yeah, today's, even like the whole week, honestly, you could be trading just a couple of micros, even one micro, and you're still, you're seeing decent dollar swings up and down. Yeah, extremely common to see this type of price action during a micro pullback because if you look at the bell curve, what is the bell curve doing? It's doing the exact same thing the price is doing. Where you have that kind of triangle. Like that's what a bell curve looks like for the most part during the price action. Tries to go up, comes back down to the middle, tries to go down, comes back to the middle. Yeah, the buy off the bottom, you couldn't really predict that. That was a headline. You could predict that it was going to buy around the value low because that's the bell curve once again. But how impulsive and how strong that happened kind of out of nowhere, you can't really predict headlines. Now China is putting out their side of the headlines. Raffle's already over. I already pulled the winners, and they've, I think all of them have gotten back to me. Let me see. I know two of them have. Did the third one get back to me? Let me see. I'm waiting on one of the winners. I'll double check with them today. Yeah, reminder, if you guys are buying any accounts with code BREW for February, don't send those just yet. Don't send the receipts. I'll get those from you guys on the last week of the month, and we'll do our raffle on the first week of March. Yeah, have a good day. Good morning, music. Not sure if I saw you earlier. Still just rotating here. Holding on to that lower rotation around 31. I need to mute for a couple of minutes. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Gotta take care of something. Tom, I didn't hear about too many issues with NinjaTrader, but I did hear, well, there were issues with Trade-of-8. So they are kind of the same company now, so you might be seeing a bit on Inti as well. Hey, Julio, yeah, I think you were our last winner that we were waiting on. Let me see if I got your email here. Yeah, I got you. All right. Awesome. So now I have all three winners, so you guys will be seeing my response later today. I'll get you guys added to the Discord. Okay, getting a little bit bottom heavy here, staying below the value low, that kind of like buy zone that we've been seeing all day, around like the mid 20s to 30. Very bottom heavy with that node at 18. Keep an eye on 900. NASDAQ leading the charge on the way down here. Next value not until around 900 as well, funny enough. Keep an eye on that whole number, that 25,000. Not looking too good on the daily. This will be a yearly low if it breaks this level right here. Definitely not looking too good. Trying to get back into balance here, bouncing off that 900 level a little bit early. Off that 900. Keep it on VWAP again. Seems like the buyers are actually pretty damn aggressive once it gets down to that kind of low of day area. But other than that, they're just not really here. They're buying it up so quickly off these lows. So this is where it will start to flip this value if it can't get back into rotation here. If this rebound is sold immediately, it's looking pretty bearish. The last time we swept it, quickly rotated. And then this time we swept it, didn't really rotate too strong. So now we're trying to sweep it again. We're trying to come back up. But if they can't hold back into that value, you basically could argue that they're flipping all this value bearishly and then pushing back down. We'll see if they can hold inside value here. There is a poor low, by the way, so if it does fail to rotate here, that would be an obvious level to get to, repairing that poor low, breaking the low of day. Keep an eye on VWAP if it does try to bounce here, 35 to 38. They've already given up this higher low structure here. Are they going to give up the lower high structure? Would have to push pretty aggressively here. It's already not a good sign that they're struggling on this level. Like they shouldn't be struggling here, right? If it was going back into rotation, you should be finding a lot of buyers around that value low. But it's not doing that, right? They're actually getting a decent amount of sell pressure on that value low. So not a great sign immediately. Looks more like a rebound. You're like rebounding back into it and then selling it. Lower high structure still intact. Also believe 30-minute highs, 30-minute highs still being protected. One more push down will be a new low for the year on NASDAQ. which is basically just saying you're losing all of the support from January. Another sign that this is not really a good look for the buyers on the rotation is they failed the halfback of that candle. This it says highest, but I'm just using the highest indicator. This is the halfway point of that candle. So instead of rotating back towards the high of that candle, failing the midway point, which is not a great look. Still very bottom heavy, building a strong node below 20 here. Definitely looks like a rebound where you rebounded back into the value low. You should have found buyers there pretty easily. It did not do that. And here comes that poor low repair that I was talking about earlier. You're on January's low now on NQ. I don't agree. I think it's choppy, but I think it has a clear pattern. It's the same pattern we always talk about with these micro pullbacks after impulse days. It's nearly an identical pattern to yesterday, funny enough. You're just flipping it upside down. So yesterday we had strong impulse, micro pullback, but instead of doing the micro pullback the entire morning, it just gave it up. And now same thing, strong impulse, micro pullback, trying to give it up again. The day after a strong impulse, you can almost always bet on something like this happening, unless the trend is extremely strong. If the trend is very strong, you'll see multiple impulse days back to back, but it doesn't happen very often. Like you can zoom out and back test it. It's pretty rare. Like even this here, it kind of looks like there's two impulses, but then you had all that chop, impulse, chop, chop, You just don't really have many times where it's like impulse, impulse, impulse. Back to back to back. Same thing kind of here. One directional chop. One directional chop. This one's kind of. You kind of have two impulses back to back. That was a very strong move, but that was basically all-time high. Well, at the time, it was all-time high. Yeah, pretty rare. Almost always when you see a P shape or a lowercase b, you will see a micro pullback right after it, or some type of micro pullback, some kind of choppy day. Might see a capital B. Liquidity is definitely a problem. Basically, since FOMC, you've had no liquidity. Hopefully it comes back soon. We have Google earnings and then Amazon earnings, and realistically, that's basically it on the calendar. There's not a whole lot on the calendar. So not sure what the liquidity is waiting for. Yeah, like I said, guys, if you guys are struggling today, just make a reminder anytime you see a capital P day or a lowercase b day, be very careful if the following day is just extending that chop, that POC, because you're basically trading one big POC day. Now, yesterday was more of a bearish trend day, but how it acted on the close made it more like a lowercase b because you had that really strong push up into the close. If it was a bearish trend day, it would have closed down here. And you can see we're just a complete inside day and then mark out the POC. POC is almost exactly in the middle of today, so just giving us all that chop. Very, very common. So either when you see this happening, if you really struggle with it, just don't trade that day, or just kind of stick to the extreme chop, like stick to the extremes and play the chop. I'm pretty sure I have videos on that. I don't remember if I covered it in the new series. But I should definitely have shorts or some type of videos if you search up micro pullback on my channel. Should be something on it. NVIDIA end of the month for earnings, yeah. Not exactly. You wouldn't really say today is a dead cat. You would have said yesterday was a dead cat. So I guess you could kind of extend that theory into today. But for the most part, the dead cat was like already here. What percentage is this? It looks like it's right around that 50 to 618. Yeah, it's exactly where it is. So it's right in the middle of that 50 to 618. It's almost in the sell zone of the sell zone. It's near perfect. Yeah, it's literally perfect. So that's a literal perfect, like, bear flag if you're using Fibonacci. You can watch my old Fibonacci videos if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Hey, Savage. So how the raffle works is every single month, if you guys use code BREW for the accounts, just hold on to all those receipts. The last week of the month, I tell you guys to send those to my email, and then I just randomly pull winners from those The receipts basically turn into tickets, and I randomly pull winners from the tickets. So last month, I just pulled it on Sunday. We had 3 winners. And I typically pull around 3 to 4 winners every month. Cash prizes, Discord access, indicator access, all that stuff. But yeah, same raffle we do every single month. So I will be doing that for February as well. Yeah, I think you just missed last month. So just hold on to those if you have, if you're renewing those for February. Just hold on to the receipts from the renewals. They don't have to be brand new accounts. The renewal is basically the same as buying a new account. So if you guys are using the renewal, as long as the code is on there, the brew code, just send those to me. Typically last week of the month, I'll let you guys know. I just need to be able to see the invoice number and the account size. So if you screenshot the part of the receipt that has like the account size and invoice, that's all I need. But like I said, don't send them now. Just send them at the end of the month. Okay, back into rotation after a rebound that showed that we were looking pretty bearish. The rebound did give you a new low, so I guess it kind of did its job there. Did it repair the poor low? It did, yep. So target on the poor low has been repaired. Still maintaining an inside day here, not testing that value low of yesterday. So still getting a lot of chop. Or one directional on NASDAQ. So if NASDAQ does continue, keep an eye on that. It will pull ES down. NASDAQ has to quickly recover like 250 if it wants to get back into yesterday. So NASDAQ started out as a micro pullback, but now you're turning almost into a double impulse where you had that impulse and now possibly another impulse, getting really bearish on NASDAQ. Like I said, not very common to see impulses back to back like that, but obviously not looking too good on NQ. What's driving us down here? Looks like Google, Nvidia, Tesla down, Facebook down. Not doing too bad. Yeah, they don't show the code. Like I said, I only need to see 2 things. I need to see the invoice number and the account size. It doesn't show the code. All right, guys, we are coming to that time. We are almost at 100 likes. If you guys want to get that over 100, we'll go ahead and do our giveaway here. I'm sure you guys will do it. I'll go ahead and get that ready. If you guys are heading out before the giveaway, I appreciate you guys being here. I will be streaming in Discord for the rest of the day. If you're not in Discord, I will see you guys tomorrow. By the way, I put out a recap video yesterday. It has like no views, so like nobody saw it. I will send you guys the link to that if you guys want to check it out. I don't really care about the views too much on these recaps. But what I will say is if I do like another 5 or 10 of them and they're still not getting views, I'll just probably stop doing them. I don't want to waste my time if nobody's watching them. But I'm not expecting like a ton of views on them. As long as people are watching them, I don't really care. But here is the recap video for you guys if you guys didn't see it. I know YouTube is sometimes bad about sending those videos out. But all right, let me go ahead and get this giveaway ready. Reminder, make sure you guys are live. Press that live button. I don't want to sit here waiting all day if you guys win the giveaway. Press that live button. Make sure you are up to date on the stream. Make sure your delay is not too bad. Typically around 5 to 10 seconds is a normal delay. And for the giveaway, just type a random number between 1 and 50. Just pick one number. If you pick multiple, I'm just going to delete your messages. I'll give you guys a minute or two. This is going to be for a promo code for Apex. It's going to give you a free account for 30 days. You just put it in on any size account. And then after that, it will start charging you normally. So if you don't pass it in 30 days, just go ahead and go back to the brew code, which, by the way, is still 90% off. I think, what's today? Wednesday? I think today's the last day. Today is the last day for that 90% off sale unless they extend it. And like I said, if you guys buy any accounts using that code, don't send them to me just yet. Just keep them somewhere safe. Put them in a file or something. Put them in a folder. And then send them all to me at the end of the month for the raffle. In the meantime, if you guys are just now starting to use the code, or if you haven't gotten access to the indicators just yet, if you do use the brew code, just send me an email and let me know, hey, I don't have access to the indicators. Could I get a trial? And I give you guys 60 days access to the Momo, the OTS, the bots, so you guys can try them out on TradingView to help you guys get funded. So if you guys have not received that trial yet, go ahead and send me your most recent receipt, and I'll get you added. Make sure to give me your TradingView name or I can't give you access. Here is that email for that. Just send me the most recent receipt and then your TradingView username. Just put like indicator access or something like that in the subject so I don't miss you. All right, last chance. Get your number in. Please press that live button as well. Make sure you do not have a stream delay or a very small delay, so you know if you won. Let me double check nobody's cheating here. All right, good luck, guys. Last person I see is Patrick for the first roll. Lucky number 3. Let me know if you won. I'll double check your messages. I do see a 3, TV. And I think you are the only one. Is there anybody else on 3 or is it just TV? Let me know if you're here, TV. Okay, I do not see anybody else. So TV, if you are still here. Oh yeah, I see you. Okay, here's my giveaway email. Go ahead and send me an email. Let me know what your YouTube name is, and I'll send you a random number to confirm in chat. By the way, keep an eye on these lows here. Still looking pretty bad. We have a second rebound here. Rebounded back into value. selling the value low where you should be buying. Or I guess I should rephrase that. The market should be buying, right? They should be protecting and buying that value low, and they are not. So second time we have rebounded to that level and sold it. Definitely showing a bearish bias. TV, let me know when you send the email. I'll take a look. If you guys are heading out, I will see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. Check out that recap video that I posted earlier if you guys haven't seen it. That will definitely help you guys trade the FOMC weeks. I talk about the strategies that we like to use on FOMC with the weekly open strategy, with the 5-minute open strategy as well. You sent it, awesome. Let me take a look. And if you were one of our raffle winners, I have heard back from all of our winners now, so I will be sending you guys that that access or whatever your prize was here in a little bit. So keep an eye on that. All right, I sent you the random number. Just go ahead and type that in chat for me. $10 more points down on NASDAQ. It will be a new yearly low, which obviously it's in February. It's not saying much, but that does mean we have completely lost all of our support in January. Starting to lose the daily trail on both ES and NASDAQ, which is not looking too good. We have not lost that daily trail since early January, or sorry, early December. December 3rd to be exact. Type that number in chat for me, TV. So I can confirm your email. Gotcha, okay, I see you. All right, next email you'll see is the actual promo code. All right, guys, one last reminder here before we go. Keep an eye on 900 and 861 on NASDAQ. Our trade plan is already completed. We had to extend those levels. ES, keep an eye on our trade plan going down to 864, the overnight low, and 836 if you lose 900. The rotation from 70 to 900 is basically complete. Need a little bit more. Last day for the 90% off sale on Apex. You can use code BREW. Like I said, just send me an email if you need access to the indicators. I'll get you guys access. And if you do use the code, keep all those receipts. We're going to do a raffle at the end of the month. But all right, guys, I appreciate you being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow.